In this week's Torah portion, we read about the dramatic encounter between Yosef and his brothers. After Yosef emotionally terrorizes them by trying to take Binyamin away from them as a slave, he broke. He could no longer torment his repentant siblings. He suddenly said to them the famous words, Ani Yosef Haod Avi Chai. I am Yosef. Is my father still alive? All the commentators ask, what exactly was Yosef asking when he asked, is my father still alive? He surely knew the answer was yes. So what exactly was he asking? When the brothers arrived in Egypt with Binyamin, the first words Yosef said to them at their first meeting was, how is your elderly father, whom you said is still alive? To which the brothers responded, your servant, our father, is well. He still lives. Furthermore, what finally causes Yosef to stop the charade and disclose his true identity is a stirring emotional plea by Yehuda. The whole plea to convince the ruler of Egypt not to take his brother Binyamin as a slave was predicated on the fact that if the brothers would return to his father and he sees that the lad is not there, he will die. Yaakov could perish of grief. Thus, it was clear throughout that Yaakov was alive. So why was Yosef asking, is my father still alive? We must therefore say that Yosef was not inquiring about his father's physical status, but rather his spiritual status. The essence of a tzaddik is his spirituality. This is not connected to his physical life. As long as a tzaddik's life's work and influence continue to inspire people to walk in his footsteps, to study his teachings, then he is considered alive. In the Torah portion 2 weeks ago, we find an example of this concept. We learn about the story of Yosef as the manager of Potiphar's household. Yosef was doing well until Potiphar's wife came along and started making trouble. She began making unwelcome advances to him, trying to seduce him to sleep with her. The Torah describes in detail how one day, when everyone had gone to their idol worship and no one was home except for him and her, she grabbed him by his clothing and, dropping all the hints, explicitly said to him, sleep with me. She had almost succeeded. He was vulnerable and she spoke to his heart. But at the last moment, Yosef suddenly pulled off the garment she was tightly grabbing, left it in her hand, and he ran out. Now, what suddenly happened that gave him the inner strength to overpower his urges? Rashi says his father's image appeared to him. In his mind's eye, he suddenly saw his father standing over him. This gave him the strength to drop everything and to flee outside. It's like a bereaved son whose father lives on in his heart, strongly influencing him as if he was still physically standing there. In Yosef's case, he was so far removed from his father, yet Yaakov still had such a strong influence on him. The same thing can happen even when the tzaddik is no longer with us physically. As long as he influences a person to change his ways and gives him the strength to overcome all his obstacles, then he is alive. Now this helps us understand what Yosef was really asking his brothers when he said, Haod Avi Chai, is my father still alive? Yosef knew good and well that his father was still physically with us. What Yosef was really asking was, does our father live in your lifestyle? Does he live within you? Are you, my brothers, continuing his legacy? Anyone who influences another to live a more Jewish life, a more spiritual life, is the spiritual parent of that person. And if that person continues in his ways, then he himself lives on in them and through them. This question, is our father Jacob still alive, not merely a part of history. It's an active, ongoing question that Joseph asks from me and from you. Is our father Yaakov influencing the way we live? Is he inspiring us to live like better Jews? Or is he dead, and we allow for others to influence our lifestyle and choices? The parsha this week empowers us to answer this question with conviction. Yes, our father is alive. Just give a look at the Jewish people today and you will see an urge to connect with the divine, with a love for our fellow brethren. And this is the meaning of Am Yisrael Chai. The nation of Israel lives for our Israel. Yisrael, our father's spirit, is what guides us and what energizes us. I wish you a good Shabbos and Am Yisrael Chai.